Thank you, Arijit. Thank you for this very remarkable, very insightful show of yours. I particularly like your style and your way of asking questions, which normally others don't ask. So thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to Riding Tiger with Arijit, and definitely I have got an amazing friend of mine with me who don't need any kind of introduction. So Riding Tiger is basically a concept. When you start your life, you take your life as a cup, you feed it with milk, eventually it becomes big, and when it is big, you are riding on the top of it. Now, it doesn't need any kind of milk, it needs meat, and that meat is money. So when you run your life like this now, you just can't stop. So either the life will eat you or you need to kill that. So the art and science of running your venture is to protect, understand, and run with a risky attitude. With that note, I have got the biggest lawyer in the country who runs an amazing venture with multiple different kind of activities worldwide who don't need any kind of introduction. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Pavan Duggal to Riding Tiger with Arijit. How are you doing, Pavan?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast and your show.
Pleasure. Pavan, I have got an interesting question for all those audience, all those people who really want to start their life, aspire to do something in the legal world, which is attractive,
Yeah.
but somehow they lose the point in between. So my question to you would be, how did you started your life? And if I look at your life journey, what would be the tip for the newcomers in the industry, if you may share?
Well, I think we should definitely be alive to the fact that whatever really is glitzy is not coming to you very, very quickly. Behind every kind of a success or an endeavor, there's a lot of hard work. And that's been the life that I've actually been leading. And I, as a professional, can tell you that you have never, ever any control of the direction that you will be taking in life. The reason for this is very simple. I'm a spiritual person, so I like to believe in what our ancient scriptures have said. And they say, look, you actually, whatever was to be done by us in our lives has already been written before. And we are only merely performing that particular script. And I think my journey, I can very quickly say that I had no clue of any kind whatsoever when I began my journey that I will be adopting in this particular space, in this particular discipline, in an area that was not born at the time when I started my practice. And it is one area that I also didn't know when I started my practice or started my journey, which direction is going to take me. So I began as a normal civil and corporate lawyer at the Delhi courts, district courts, and then went to the High Court and the Supreme Court. And mind you, that was 1988. That was the time you had, as lawyers, very limited options. So you could either be a lawyer, you could be an in-house counsel, or at best you could be working in some company. But lo and behold, I began with civil and corporate, and I wanted to do something which is different from the others. And that's the reason I thought, let me try to explore. And I couldn't really find for a number of years what I really wanted to do. And then early 90s, I got some technology clients. And that got me interested in technology. Mind you, I'm an arts student. I have got no connection with technology. And here is the technology clients coming in. And I get interested in technology. And then come 1995, internet comes in India. And after a couple of years of couple of months of madness onto the internet, I quickly begin to ask myself, are there some legal policy or regulatory issues? And I said, yes, that's going to be a big area where I could potentially be looking into. And in that particular context, I started focusing on cyber law as a discipline. Since then, it's been very, very, shall I say, tumultuous journey. Mm-hmm. There are lots ups and lots of downs. There's lots of hard work. Yes, it's taken you a lot of effort to come to where you are, but clearly it's taken huge toll in terms of effort, in terms of time, energies. But ultimately, I think we are only here to perform our role in our lives, whatever best that we can do.
Brilliant. And when we talk about cybersecurity, when we talk about cyber law, it's not that easy to understand the cyber world, because each and every moment it is evolving. From the perspective of a person who is actually working on the rules and regulations with different countries, how do you manage that?
Well, Internet has taught me one basic lesson, and that basic lesson is the fact that you can never sit on your laurels. Internet is always telling you, I'm a much bigger teacher that you can ever conceive of, and therefore I will keep you on your feet. Therefore, every 8 hours that I sleep, and when I wake up with a sense of great discomfort, because in that last 8 hours, so much of developments have happened globally that you need to catch up. And on this space, look, unlike normal traditional laws, which are well established over the centuries, you don't have to do much. Once done, you are done for life. But on cyber law, it's only a 2 decades old kind of a legal frameworks, and it's constantly evolving. New technologies are coming in, whether it's artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, quantum computing, and every of these new technologies are telling you that you apply your mind on how can the legal policy and regulatory issues pertaining to these newly emerging technologies have to be addressed. So these are rules that are being written. To a large extent, I find myself very lucky because I think I'm actually seeing history evolving. I'm contributing to history being created. And I think that's a great sense of comfort, but it is also a great sense of responsibility. You cannot go wrong. You have to keep in mind the global good, the better good or the larger good of the larger numbers when you're making your rules and regulations. And I extensively working with various international organizations, governments, and also governmental agencies. I get a variety of very diverse areas to work on. So it's an exciting day, but each day a new day, each day telling you you have something new to learn, and that's a great opportunity to get started.
Super. I have a quick question for you, which will be probably interesting for all of us. Imagine that there is a car which is actually fully automated car, not drive by a normal driver, but the AI is actually driving it. So I'm talking more about driverless cars, which is going to come very soon in the market. What happens if that driverless car kills somebody? Whom will you accuse and how, if you may share?
I think these are typical legal challenges that these newly emerging technologies are bringing forward, particularly driverless cars. Because when you are having a driverless car, you actually programmed your system to keep in mind certain parameters. So when a driverless car is driving and it sees a child on the one hand and it sees lesser evil or a lesser harm on the other hand, it's going to go in the direction of choosing lesser harm. But either way, a lesser harm could still actually be bodily injury, could actually even be death. So in a scenario like this, how can you make people liable? So the law is only beginning to evolve, but a new thought process is coming in that look, the people who are coding the said driverless cars, they need to be made more responsible. They need to have a certain limited element of due diligence. And if they are negligent in coming up with the due diligence parameters, and as a result of their negligence, there's bodily harm or death, then they should equally be made liable. Now that's a thought process that's happening because you can't punish a driverless car. You cannot send it to jail. Yes, you can immobilize it, get it off the car, off the road, but that is not really going to serve the purpose. So the law, as it develops currently, and it's at the very nascent stage, will have to have a balancing of interests between ensuring that the human rights and the human life is protected on the one hand, and also ensuring that the algorithms don't go scot-free. Right. And that if you are writing an algorithm for a driverless car, you will have equal responsibility in case if the driverless car does any action which results into injury or harm.
True. So we are not actually only talking about a person who created history in the field of law. Rather, I am talking to a person who started a mega event and a summit which is specifically targeting these kind of challenges. Pavan, why don't you share about the event that is coming up on 23rd and what are the kind of opportunities people can get and how big is it?
Well, it was way back in 2014 that I conceptualized that very quickly cyber law as a discipline cannot work in its silo, and therefore it has to work along with other sister disciplines of cybercrime and cybersecurity. So I started this international conference on cyber law, cybercrime and cybersecurity. It was a small endeavor, half-day program in 2014, but every year we continued doing it. It continued to grow. This year, 2022, this conference is a virtual conference, and this already has 55 different sessions that are spread over 3 days, and more than 230 speakers globally are coming from all the continents of the world, joining together in the deliberations. So very quickly I realized that when you do an international conference, it's great logistical nightmare, but more significantly, we wanted to create a kind of an international conference that's not a talk shop, that can actually come up with something concrete. So from the very first international conference, we decided that let's the conference come up with an outcome document, which will be just nothing but a collation of the various recommendations that various speakers and sessions are providing across the conference. And then we collate that particular outcome document and then present it back to the conference, who approves it. And once that is approved, then it gets circulated globally to all global stakeholders, all the governments of the world, all the UN agencies, and of course, all national governments and digital stakeholders. So over a period of time, it's been an interesting journey. And this is now the 10th edition of this international conference on cyber law, cybercrime, and cybersecurity. We've been very lucky to have Sir Vint Cerf, the father of the internet, addressing the conference right from the first year onwards without any break in the last 9 years. More significantly, we got some of the best creme de la creme minds of the world. We very quickly decided that this conference has to be a multidisciplinary conference, where it's not just only lawyers coming in, but it's all kind of policymakers, technologists, various governmental agencies, also corporates, not-for-profit, academicians, who are all congregating together so as to deliberate on some of the most cutting-edge issues that are impacting cyberspace. And I can tell you, each year that this conference has grown, each year there are new challenges. And each year we find that, look, we're just about at the beginning of a cusp of creating a new journey or creating a new chapter. But this has been one conference which has now, with the passage of time, been acknowledged as the world's only authoritative conference that's working on the intersection of cyber law, cybercrime, and cybersecurity. This is a conference that's extensively supported by about more than 150 international organizations, including the United Nations and its various agencies, the Government of India and its various agencies, the International Telecommunications Union, a variety of international bodies, apart from distinctive focused stakeholders in different countries.
Brilliant, brilliant. So when I'm looking at the juggernaut, Mr. Duggal, D. Duggal, my question to you would be now, what is life for you?
Life for me is nothing but a journey. We are here for a very limited period of time on this planet, and we are going to go very, very quickly. Whatever limited time that you have, let's try to do something which can create more smiles, more happiness, more goodness, and more well-being for people around you. It's the kind of work that you can give back to society is what's most important. Otherwise, we normally keep on living our own respective lives in our own particular day-to-day genres and schedules. But I think life is much more. Life is all about creating happiness, joys in the minds and hearts of people, and helping whosoever people that we can do through our own respective endeavors in life.
Brilliant. So when we are looking at someone like him, definitely he wants to give back to the community, and that's the sole reason all those kind of activities are happening. My last question to you would be a different one. Imagine that you are in a park. There is one bench. Wind is blowing. It's about a beautiful weather, sunny one. Greenery is here and there. And if I ask you to sit with someone, it can be an imaginary character, it can be someone who never met in your life, it can be someone who probably is very close to you, it can be someone who is completely different than your own thought process. If I ask you to sit with someone over there in that situation, whom that would be and what kind of conversation you wanted?
That particular person whom I would like to be and talking will be Mother Nature. Because I believe Mother Nature is a great rejuvenator. It helps you to be quiet, it helps you to go ahead and reflect inside. And more so, when you start connecting with nature, you quickly realize how much small speck of existence that you are in this entire ecosystem. And therefore, the moment you realize that, look, you are just a very, very small speck of dust in this ecosystem, you begin to start not just going and venerating nature, but also learning your lessons from nature, of saying, when did we disconnect ourselves with nature? What can we do to connect ourselves back with Mother Nature? And what can we learn in terms of the goodness or the good values that nature can actually provide us? Because I think despite all the advances that we've seen in humanity, it's still our connection with nature that goes ahead and ultimately rejuvenates all of us and gives us many life lessons which neither books nor teachers can actually provide us. So my companion would be definitely Mother Nature.
Brilliant, absolutely amazing. For all the audience, let me tell you something. When I met this gentleman long back, I really forgot the year when we met with each other. I was speaker in one of his conference initially, which was physical. Even then, after that, years after year, I have been speaking in the conference. It's one of the best conferences that you can probably attend, learn, connect, interact, network. Not only that, if you are looking for expanding your horizon in India, Pavan Duggal and Associates is the company who can give you that platform. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for sharing all those insights. Thank you, Pavan.
Thank you, Arijit. Thank you for this very remarkable, very insightful show of yours. I particularly like your style and your way of asking questions, which normally others don't ask. So thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.